Hello, Ashley, and welcome to the Make Life Rich movement. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are in for an absolute treat today, everyone. I just want you to get your pen and paper ready, your iPad and your laptop, whatever it is you take notes with, because today is the day that we get your business running with its first meta ad. This is a big deal, guys, okay? I'm personally sweating over here already. Because as I told Ashley before we jumped on, I have been scouring the internet for the better part of 2 years in looking for someone that I trusted to not only help me understand ads better, but to manage ads for this podcast, for my course, my business. And I'll tell you guys, I've been burned. I've been burned a couple times and it's made me really hesitant. And I've guerrilla marketed everything up until this point, and your girl is getting tired, and it's time for ads. And it's probably time for ads in your business as well. So that is why we have Ashley here today. She is from the Paid Ad Academy, and she's going to set us straight, and not only set us straight, but she has a host of different products and services that may fit the bill better for you if you know right out the gate you don't want to do your ads. You just want to trust the person doing your ads for you. So Ashley, thank you for being a godsend for all of us, and thank you for simplifying what seems to be such a crazy, convoluted thing for no reason.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably try to make it convoluted so you pay them more money to manage it, and it just does not have to be like that. Our whole entire mantra over here is that ads don't have to be scary, complicated, or expensive. So we try to teach them in simple, affordable ways for small business owners, because we're small business owners too. And so we know that if we're trying to give you a PhD in ads manager, you're probably not going to do it. So that's what we're trying to avoid over here.
Yeah, it's appreciated very much so. And also as a business move, so smart. You truly stand alone in I found you on Instagram, so on the plethora of ad experts on Instagram. I just remember coming across your profile and immediately I felt comfortable. I was
Oh,
like, okay, they're real people. Not only are they real people, they're sisters,
yes.
and they have made successful enough of a go at this that they're doing it together now. So, like, that to me was just like check number one was great. And all of your reels were the two of you. It was you actually doing the work hand in hand, showing yourself doing these things. And I just felt like you were going to choose me over making a dollar. You were going to get creative with whatever budget I might bring to you, because you understand that like this can be a really beautiful tool for everyone, but everyone's going to have a starting point, and most of it is going to be on the very low end of what people can afford.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's okay. I think sometimes people feel shame about that. And it's just like, no, absolutely not. You do not have to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on your Facebook ads if you're not comfortable with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with dipping your toe into it. We actually teach a $2 a day method so that you can become comfortable. I mean, you don't, why? Why, if you're scared to death, would you do something like that? So, and the reality is most people won't. They'll be like, I'm just not going to do it. And Facebook ads have
Yeah.
really like changed my life personally. And that's why I do this now, is because when I first learned them, I was a wedding photographer and I was moving around a lot because my husband's job, he's a pilot. And so we would move every year. And I don't know if in the service industry, like that's nearly impossible to restart like every year, every 2 years. So I ran Facebook ads, and I had learned in like a side hustle that I had doing some marketing for a boutique because it was so hard. And it changed my life. Like I booked out my whole season in 3 weeks with one Facebook ad. This was a long time ago. It was 2016. So things are a little different now, but it was life changing for my family. And I just knew, I was like, there needs to be like more talk about this, more conversation. So I just think other people can benefit too.
Man, and the fact that this whole business for you was born out of your own sheer necessity for having to figure it out. Because, I mean, anyone here with a service-based business that isn't online, think about a hairdresser. My cousin's a hairdresser. She's had to move frequently when her husband was in the military, and it was always such a struggle to build that book back up again. So I love that it came from a place of just real authenticity and good old like figure it out 101, and it led you to here.
Yeah, it's been such a cool journey. Honestly, like I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that we have this platform that we can use. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes I get in Facebook and I'm like, oh my gosh, Ads Manager has changed again. Like so annoying. And I get frustrated. I'm like, why did I build my business on someone else's platform? But at the end of the day, like, we are just so lucky to be living in a time where we can use social media mostly for free, but then also have the ability to figure this platform out and spend money that's not, thousands of dollars. Because if you think about it, like, I don't know if you watch Mad Men, but I really enjoyed Mad Men when it was on. But that was impossible for small businesses, right? To have like these huge campaigns with ad agencies and all that kind of stuff. It was really just guerrilla marketing back then, and that's kind of what it is now, but we have a bigger reach with it. So I love it.
Yeah, and it really does bolster. I don't know what you would recommend, but I've always kind of told people to hold off on getting any kind of ads until you have every single solitary thing buttoned and in place, because the beauty of ads, from what I've gathered, seems to be that the automation process for whatever that first goal is that you're setting, it's a set it and forget it method. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs look at the idea of an ad as like a wham, bam, thank you. Like, we're good. This has changed everything immediately. Is that the case? Is that not the case? Does it depend? Tell us what you believe the life cycle of an ad to be.
Yeah, I will say ads do require some time. We have a membership that we teach people inside of. And so in the membership, I tell people you need to be willing to spend a couple hours a week on this. But the reward on it is that you're not spending your entire week on social media. You're not... Sarah, I think it broke up a little. Yeah, did it disconnect?
No. Did it say it did? It just says that your upload is low.
Okay, it said trying to reconnect on my side, so I was like, let me slow down here.
Oh. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
I'll just write the time down.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. My husband does all my editing. I'm very blessed, and he's very quick at it.
Oh, well, thank goodness. Thank you, husband.
He doesn't mind at all. He loves it. Yeah.
Okay. What were we talking about? What was the question? I'll just start from the top.
Oh, the life cycle of ads and like how they work.
Perfect. Thank you. So with ads, we have our membership, and inside of our ad membership, we tell people you need to be able to spend a couple hours a week on your Facebook ads, especially when you're trying to get them working, because there is some testing and we say optimizing, but sometimes people get stressed by that word. It's really just changing things, like just, this picture's not doing as well. Let me try this picture. And the thing with ads is that it's very methodical. So if your ad is not getting you the results that you want, you can go in and there are numbers you can look at. So if you go into your ads manager, there's something called a click-through rate, and it's a percentage. And so if that percentage is under 1%, there's two things that could be wrong. One, your creative is not stopping the scroll, and so it's not making people stop and actually look at your ad, or your copy is not causing them to click. And then I guess the third thing is you could be targeting the wrong people. So those are just three things. You're like, okay, well, let me try a different thing. Let me try some different copy. And so that's part of what we do inside of Big Break Club, which is the ads membership. We're like, this is what's working right now in Facebook ads. So why don't you try? So what's working right now is something called lo-fi ads, which are basically just like ugly ads, to be honest. They're just like a snapshot of you from your phone that's like not even a good picture, or like a picture of a screenshot of someone saying they really liked something you did, or even a post-it note on your computer where you've written something down. I mean, it's like super easy stuff, and it's getting the best results. So I'm like, why not just do it? Takes you like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Wow. Do you think that is just kind of due to the cycle of people recognizing what was the beginning of Facebook ads, and now you kind of have to get a little bit more creative with slipping in there in the scroll?
And yes, in some ways, I do believe that's part of it. And I also think it's just a desire for authenticity in this market, especially like in this course creator online education market. I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of comparing myself to these people who are only showing like this perfect world. Like, I don't know that I'd be willing to buy from someone every single time that's all they show. So if you're going to show me something real and you're with your kids at the beach, and then you're going to tell me how I can be at the beach with my kids by buying whatever, like, I'm way more likely to buy from you.
And honestly, that like the proof is in the pudding, because at the beginning of this interview, I said that I liked your account because you were hanging out with your sister and your family and you're getting to do things together. The one reel that truly hooked me and was the thing that I was like, oh man, I have to interview them and ask if they'll come on, was I think you were were you in Disney World doing the $2 a day? It was a reel basically explaining like we're able to spend the day together and do this
Yeah.
because of a $2 a day like ad spend that we put in. And I was like, wait a minute. $2. I've been recommended by everyone I've either hired or spoken to that you don't go below 100 a day. And you're recommending $2. You have success. You have clients within your entire page that are doing well, that are growing and learning. I was like, this is all I need to see. Thank you. I'm here and I'm in.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I know the ad you're talking about. Elizabeth and I are huge Disney fans, like huge. I actually used to work at Disney World when I was in college. And so we're gigantic Disney fans. And so, yeah, the first clip of that is us being at Disney. And it's so nice just to work with my sister. I mean, we are best friends and we live close to each other. We've purposefully curated this life for ourselves. Like, we're not from where we live right now. We decided to move to a small town in the mountains of Georgia where we could live a slower, simpler life and be close to each other and just, I mean, we designed this life and I just am so thankful for it. And now we get to work together too. It's just incredible.
Oh, man, that is beautiful. I love that for you. I think the word that I would love to pull off of a little bit there is designed. I think people can get very discouraged, and meaning me as well. You know, there's a lot of moments of like magic and serendipity that can align or not align with tech and the booms and the peaks and the valleys of being ready at the right time, at the right moment to be the course creator that took off and did this and did that. Like Amy Shrewd, like she's changed her name now to Lazy Millionaire, but she was Rebel Nutrition before. And I bought her course, like made my course that I'm selling now off of it. But there's always that moment where you find yourself questioning, am I buying a little bit of snake oil here? Is this person telling the truth? Because at the moment that they got in, it was the very beginning of people being open to the thought of doing these things. And it was a lot easier to get that button to press, to push, to purchase. And I think now we're in a place where people are not only shell-shocked, they're a little bit like burnt out on figuring out what to do next. And at being a person that has been in that space, it truly does seem that at the end of the day, technology is ruling the majority of our life and our business. And you can either cave into that and feel like a victim, or you can get really spicy and creative and you can design your life utilizing tech. And I think the one thing that people have left to really give their good old college try at is ads. And I think everyone just needs to hear about how ads work and why they're good for someone's business from someone that is a normal individual that went about crafting her life to look the way she wanted it, as we all are. But this one component was the thing that changed her life. And she knew it to change her life so much so that she knew she had to share this information with others. And her sister have created many different ways in which for you to learn about ads, have your ads done for you. You can do them yourself. But at the end of the day, I love that your message is that you can make these ads work for you. You don't have to believe the narrative that you need that $100 a day to start budget. And I really would love if you could explain the rollover nature that begins to happen with the ad spend, the ad sale, and then that re-injection to kind of get that ball rolling to build out the impact further. If you could just address that, I think that's the one thing people hold really close to the chest. But if they would just explain that, I think people would understand and not think it to be snake oil, because it does make that peak of success you're chasing seem very rational and very achievable if you understand how they work and their purpose.
Yes. I love talking about this. So I know. Let me just go back here. So with your business, I think a lot of us, like you said, there's serendipity and all these things in it, but also if you can take a step back and design your customer journey, because I think I feel this with you, and I think probably for most of your listeners, we genuinely want to help our people. We are not out here just to make a buck, just to get to stay home, any of that. We really have something that's going to help people. And so when that's you and you're genuine about it, if you're not marketing to your people and not going out and finding them, you're really doing a disservice to your people because they need what you have and they just don't know it yet. So the most powerful thing that I can tell people right now is design your customer journey. And this is as easy as that can be. So for us, I'll just tell you, we have a couple different customer journeys depending on who you are, but I'll tell you what ours is for our ad membership. So we want people to come to some kind of workshop where we will teach you something very fast within 1 hour that you're going to get results from. And that's going to do a couple things. That's going to teach you, it's going to teach you something that's going to help your business, first of all, but it's also going to give you an example of how we work, our education style, kind of who we are as people. Like, it's very low key. Our workshops are like, I show up in a sweatshirt. I'm, my kids interrupt sometimes. Like, it's very chill. And so that's how we live our lives, because that's how I want to live my life. That's how I choose to live my life. And I know that's not going to work for everyone, but for me it does. So the types of ads that we put out and the types of things we put out to get people to sign up for that are also working to attract those people. So yeah, we can talk about it. If we weren't running ads, we would talk about it on social media. We would talk about it maybe in like some Facebook groups that we're in, and we would send emails about it. But by doing ads, it takes so much pressure off of us to have to go out and manually do all this labor, because I don't know about you, but I don't actually want to be going out there and doing all that labor. Like, I'll post on social, I'll pre-schedule some emails, but I have a life to live. Like, this is not why I didn't get into business to be chained to my laptop. So that's why I love ads. But then after that experience with us in the workshop, we're going to tell you about our membership. We're going to send you some follow-up emails, give you a deal to get in the first month so you can see if it's for you. And that's it. Like, that's the customer journey right there. And what is so cool about ads is that at the front end, you're bringing in all these people who've never heard about you before. You don't have to do the manual labor, there we go, of going out and actually finding them. And then additionally, throughout that customer journey, maybe they go to the workshop and then they were going to sign up for the membership, but they forgot, and whatever happens. Well, now I'm going to put a tiny, this is like the magic of the $2 ad right here. I'm going to put a $2 retargeting ad for anyone who's been to my website or been to my social media in the past 14 days. And I'm going to say, hey, did you remember Big Break Club? Here's some of the things that are happening in there this month. Or here's a win that one of our customers had. Or here's a video of me teaching. Like, we'd love to have you come in and try it out. And then it sparks that, oh yeah, I did want to join Big Break Club and I just forgot about it. So let me go do it now. And I only spent $2 a day because I was retargeting. So even if I didn't want to use ads as the traffic source, because that is where you typically spend a little bit more money, is at the front end, you could just put a $2 retargeting ad up and do your own traffic. You could be like, I'm going to go on podcasts. I'm going to be scrappy. I'm going to do this. And girl, I'm here for that. I'm so here for the scrappy. But do yourself a favor and put a $2 retargeting ad up that truly, those ads, you don't have to do as much work with, because you're only reaching people who are already familiar with you. So that can be a more relaxed type of ad. You don't have to do as much changing and optimizing, and leave it. Just leave it and let yourself take a little break on the back end.
It's really interesting to hear you talk about utilizing ads in a way that's going to offset the workload. And I figured that would be the case, but I don't know why I didn't really think of it as a time saver, because it truly, I guess once you get through the understanding and the A/B testing and like getting a really good idea of who you need to do targeting wise, it does, I guess, really give you the ability to not only work less, but to work smarter, because now you're seeing what's working, and now you can just create more of that authentic content on your page. So when they do go to your page, they're already seeing it, like just mimicry of like the thing that caught their eye that is authentically you anyhow. So it seems very foolproof. And I know this because I have clicked these ads. I have purchased items.
I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, there's always, I don't know that anything's really foolproof in the marketing, but it does take a lot of pressure. But what I also love about ads is that that's one strategy, if you will, out of just hundreds that you could choose. So something else that we teach people is, you know how you can pin 3 posts at the top of your Instagram? And those can be like really the posts that kind of familiarize new people with you. So like who we are, what we do, maybe customer testimonials, right? So if you have those 3 at the top, we also teach a method where you send traffic to those posts, and we're not trying to get them to do anything. We just want them to see it and engage with it in some way. So because we're keeping them on the Meta platforms, that's a cheaper type of ad to run. So for this specific ad, we will have you target cold people, which we have tons of suggestions on this kind of stuff. Like, it's really cool who you can target. And then you just run traffic to those 3 posts, those are engagements. And so that's it. Like, you're just trying to get people to engage because you have a $2 a day retargeting ad. And once they engage with those 3 posts, which are now looking like lots of likes, lots of comments because you've pinned them, then they're like, oh, these people are legit. Look at all these comments. Look at all these likes. Like, and then 2 weeks later, they get another ad from you and they're like, hey, saw you checking out our stuff. You should probably come hang out with us in XYZ. So it's all first circle.
Love this.
Yeah.
It's like, it feels like the sky's the limit.
Yeah, it really is. If you're willing to put some time and some grit into it, like, it can really just build your business exponentially for sure.
Man, I love it so much. Okay, so your low cost, high impact strategies, I think, is where I was just like, thank you. This is what I want to hear. Because I have noticed, and I've had friends that have paid, you know, upwards of $15K to have someone, including that be like their ad spend and someone managing that.
Yeah.
And I would see the data that came, and it was always it felt, how do we say this? It felt like a smash and grab, or very clickbaity. Like, it was like, well, you're going to do it this one time, but you're not going to follow. You're not going to stick around.
Yeah.
You're not going to, like, it was very, it murkied the water a bit for me, to where I was like, well, this is just, you know, like, you're not plugging a hole, you're making a bigger one that you're going to have to deal with later on down the line. Like, there was no real rhyme or reason to it other than quick cash injection. Let's do it now. It takes a lot up front, and then you're guaranteed to get the results because you spend $100, then $200, then $500 a day. Like, it felt like I was watching him gamble, and I'm like, man, this feels scary. Like, what's happening on the other end? How do you know what's going on with what you're doing? So could you explain what your management process looks like? Because I think a lot of people have engaged or reach out to someone, and for me, they always felt very predatory in nature, and I immediately ended the call. So
I get it.
I don't know. Could you tell us about your style of management and how you like to work with your clients on this, especially if they're just getting started for the first time?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because this is you're not alone. This is such a common thing that we hear. People have been, sharked out, bro marketers, all this. I mean, no, just no. I am an introvert at heart, and I just want to live my life and enjoy it and be with my family and make a difference. I want to leave a legacy and that's a lot of the people that we work with are impact driven. They have something where they're trying to make a difference in the world. And so for me specifically, I'm like, if I can support you to reach more people with your message, then I'm also impacting people. So that's our motivation, And so I think that makes a difference rather than just like, pay me the money and I'm going to get you all this money. Like, there is no guarantee. Anyone who gives you a guarantee is a liar. Don't sign with them. Like, that is just not real. And also, I think what sets us apart as far as management, especially, is that we're very invested in not only you, but your customers. So we want to know, like, what are you trying to do for them? And we help you build out a customer journey that includes ads so that we're giving your people a really white glove touch without you having to be so involved in it. And that's super important to us. And then also, like, when we talk to you, like, I talk to my clients just like I'm talking to you right now. Like, we're in it with you. We have some clients who've been with us for a really long time, and one of them is my friend Catherine. She has the Small Business Planner. She's incredible if you don't know her, but I love Catherine. And she started with us. She was just doing education, and it wasn't working. It was not working. She's in finance, and like small business finance, and that's a hard market because it's scary. And so most small business owners, myself included, when you try to give me like a P&L statement, I'm like, oh, I don't want to see it. Yeah, exactly.
Get away.
We made the same motion with our hands. Yeah, no, like, I don't want to even see it.
Yeah.
It's a thing. But so she's trying to make it simple, but the language that she was using and the types of content she was putting out wasn't working. So instead of just being like, oh, well, your ads aren't working, I guess that's not gonna, we would sit on calls with her and be like, well, what can we do? How can we adjust your messaging overall in your business? Like, because I was her ideal client, I was able to give her this feedback back. And honestly, often that happens. Most of our clients come to us and I'm like, oh, I need to buy what you've got going on over here. So it makes it easier for me to help them with messaging. And eventually what we found out was that she needed to make a product, a physical product. And so she made that product and we put it out. We launched it Black Friday last year. And from Black Friday until now, she has made $400,000 with Facebook ads. And I'm like, and kudos to her, because it is not just the ads. Like, she's doing so much on her own. I'm sure she's made way more than that just in general, but like with only Facebook ads, I can literally go to her ad account and look at it and to see how much money she's made. And I just, but you know what? The difference she's making with that small business planner, it gives me goosebumps, the type of stuff.
If she's willing to have it shared, I'll put it in the show notes, 1, so everyone can buy it, and 2, you can get an example of what work the Paid Ad Academy can do in all different facets of their service.
I'm sure she would love that. She's so sweet. You guys, if you're not following, I mean, I didn't mean to make it a plug on Catherine, but she's so genuine. And those are the type of people we like to work with too. And so we have calls, we'll sit down, we will get in the weeds with you, we will talk through this. We make the creative and copy for our clients, and that has been a game changer. Yeah. So we'll actually make all of your creative. If you need to do talking heads, we'll write scripts for you. So we just try to take as much off your plate as possible, because we know it's stressful and we know you don't have time or the effort, or honestly the desire to try to figure out what's working in the ads world. Like, that's why you hire us. And so we're just going to tell you exactly what's working, what we want to test for you. We come up with the strategies, and then we give, this is the other piece of it too, is that I think that transparency in not only what we're doing, but also the results we're getting and how we're going to move forward. That has been number one. We have spreadsheets and we have real world language that we talk to you on Slack every week. And we're like, hey, this is what you're getting in your results. So that click-through rate I was talking about earlier, if someone has a low click-through rate, I'm like, hey, something's wrong. This is what we're going to do to fix it. And so you know exactly what we're doing every week. You know exactly what ads are running. You know exactly what your people are seeing, what our goals are. So we try to just be as transparent as possible, because I think that gives comfort to people if they know what we're doing. And honestly, too, our other goal is to make you profitable in 3 months, including your management fee. And if you aren't profitable in 3 months, we're having a conversation like, what is happening? Like, is it us? Are our strategies not working? Like, do you need to go somewhere else? Because we're not going to keep you. Like, we don't want you to pay us if we can't make you money. So I'm willing to have those conversations, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about you and your customer. And, I can go do something else. I'll figure it out. I'm scrappy. I'm resourceful. Like, I'll figure it out. But you cannot keep paying someone who's not getting you results. Like, yes, it takes time, but it should not take any more than 3 months. And if it is, that's when you have the hard conversation. And that's what happened with Catherine. She was not profitable. And so we were having hard conversations every month. And thank goodness she was willing to stick it out with us. And she was willing to change her. I mean, think about it. Her entire business model, she changed. But the thing was, her stuff wasn't working on ads. It wasn't working organically. It wasn't working anywhere. So she was like, please goodness, don't leave me. Help me. Like, we really were just like her team right then. And that's not always how it is. Like, most people come to us and they have something that's working organically. And that's honestly the preference. But yeah, we just try to be there for you. Like, we're all in it together.
Yeah. And I can say from what I would love as a solopreneur, I mean, it's unfair to say because my husband is literally my producer for everything, but as someone only running the things that I'm in charge of, the thought of the pressure of having to script out a reel, then I have to record it, then I have to edit it, then I have to think about what copy and what AdWords are going to be best. And all the while, maybe you're like a crocheter or a knitter and you know that you've got to get your stock up for winter, and your little hands can't be sitting here Googling what to type up and how to make a reel when you've got stuff to make. Yeah. Like, there is a very beautiful team aspect that I think any solopreneur would welcome and would be very much comforted by. And as someone that's done PR for 15 years, because of social media, has been such a dip, an absolute dip to PR, to where I almost believe yet there's still a need for it for very specific, secular, individual like types of businesses or industries. But I do believe that you are very rarely going to exist organically out in the world and be so successful that you can just keep doing nothing forever and everything's hunky-dory. That's a pipe dream. It's not real. And there always, always, always has to be something thinking about moving forward for you. And typically that falls on your shoulders as the business owner. But I would venture a guess that aside from hiring someone to do this for you internally, and then to also beef up all of your other digital aspects, because if you're hiring someone to do that, you have to automate everything you're doing and just go for it. But I really do believe that the replacement for PR is ad management. Really? You can get all of the placement you want. You can get marketing. You can get people to go here and there. An article is great. Being in a magazine is awesome. Being on TMZ, cool. But like all of these things do not equate to a sale. An ad in the face with a prompted click this button is, gosh, so much more profitable, so much more. There's less runaround for the client. You're not asking the client to put in the work of, wait, what was that business called? Oh man, like the commercial's on now. Like I missed it. No, it's right there. They're automating it. The retargeting aspect of things, like it is truly just you're planting the seeds that you know are going to grow into wheat at some day, or they won't. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're still curating and telling the analytics who to bring to you. Yeah. And I think that is worth its weight in gold. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways I agree, because you can build so much of this. And you can build that like, no, trust factor, and you can purposefully design each step of it. But I will also say that when people try to completely rely on ads and put ads in a vacuum, it often doesn't work either. There really needs to be other pieces along with it. Like you can't just abandon your social media. You can't just not email your people. Like you really need to have a bare minimum of like, honestly, I would say a bare minimum of some social post, even if it's like just once a week, something like that. You need to have some kind of email, like a welcome sequence, something that's going to help inundate people into your stuff. And you also need to have a website that has messaging on it that's going to resonate, because I can send thousands of people to your website, but if your website's garbage, they're all going to bounce. Like that's just how it is. And your automations have to be working on the back end. So I don't say all that to intimidate people, but I do say there is a level you have to get to before you want to put money behind these ads. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. You are more than welcome to put money behind ads with one lead magnet that goes into one welcome sequence. Get it done, girl. That's totally fine. You should not hire me for that. You should learn how to do that yourself, because it's not cost efficient for me to do it unless you have like a really high-end service that you're selling into. Now that could be profitable. So there's so much nuance to all this, and it doesn't have to be hard, but you do need to be willing to keep working. Like this is not a silver bullet that's just going to solve all your problems. Unfortunately, I wish I could do that for you, but I'm going to be honest, I can't.
I do think outside of the guerrilla marketing aspects, like for me, we'll use the podcast as an example. I go on other people's shows. I am a publicist, so I'm directly working with publicists to get their people on the show. That's cross-promoting me with the different people that I want to get to their audience. But I'm getting 3, 4, maybe 10 followers from every episode, and the amount of effort and time and energy. Clearly, I love this podcast, and the purpose of ads is to get people to this. Yeah. But the effort of guerrilla marketing, after a while, can get very staggering for someone to just keep putting effort into with the teeny trickle effect. Yeah. When you are implementing an ad to someone that has just been in this trickle effect for a while of doing things organically, which I will say I think has been, I'm only primarily using Instagram as my social platform besides YouTube, and there's absolutely been a turn down that's happened about a year ago, and it's been steady with the dampening. Now that they've released these new memberships, I do see that there is incentive there for them to kind of slow things down a bit. But with the ads, once you've identified and kind of gotten the rhythm of who is picking up what you're putting down, are you always looking to keep nourishing that market, or do you want to start to branch out with other ads to maybe like get a warm market with different demographics or a different focus point? Do you ever kind of work in that regard to just develop simultaneous audiences for someone?
Yeah, that's absolutely something you can do. Typically what I see it as is it'll be like they all have something in common though. So I'm trying to think. For example, we have a client who does, and she's actually in the membership, so she's self-managing, but she does wedding show education. She's teaching wedding professionals how to do wedding shows and get their clients from that. But she's talking to photographers, planners, calligraphers, all kinds of different variations within the wedding industry. And so her ads can be very specific to, hey, wedding photographer, do you need help with this? Hey, wedding event planner, do you need help with this? So in that regard, and then also I will say too, like, we are in a mastermind, and that's because I very much believe in ongoing education and masterminding, and I just think it expands your mind so much to be around different people, different industries. And we're in a mastermind, lots of different industries inside of that, and I think that different business models can serve a wide variety of people. So like for us, we're at Facebook Ads Managers. We could serve basically anyone who has a business. We don't choose that though. And I think most people don't choose to just serve the masses. Most people do have some kind of niche or preference. So like we only market to women. We have a couple male clients, but we only market to women. You know, like we only market to people who have small businesses. We're not trying to do, you know, medium and large corporations, because honestly, that's a different kind of ad strategy in itself. If you're spending 50, 60K a month, like that is totally different than what we're teaching. What we're teaching is for people who are making like maybe 10K a month, maybe 15, they want to go up, or even like lower than that. They're just getting started and they've got a pretty consistent, you know, like 4K, but they want to get to that 10K mark. It's all a numbers game, honestly. Like if you can just figure out what your conversion rates are, put it in a spreadsheet, and then be like, okay, cool, these are my numbers. In order to get one sale, I have to have 10 people, like this, these are fake numbers. Nobody go put these on a real spreadsheet. One person to buy something, 10 people have to go to my sales page. Well, 100 people have to see the ad for 10 people to go to the sales page. So I need to get in front of 100 people, but 100 people to actually engage with it means 1,000 people have to see it. That's what you have to do. Get 1,000 people to see it. It's not that hard. You just have to be willing to put the numbers in, because if you don't send 1,000 people, you might not get that one sale, and then you're like, oh, my ads aren't working. It's like, well, the numbers didn't match up. So it can be simple, but I feel like you do need someone to kind of hold your hand and do that kind of stuff. That totally went off the rails of your original question. Sorry.
No, but it's all along the way, honestly. And I think I love that you have so many different ways for people to work with you. And that was another really beautiful green flag that you're waving, that you're helping to educate people. You're also outsourcing the creation of these power reels. Talk about your power reels package. I love that. I think it's so smart, and it's probably really comforting to someone to see someone else create that reel for them that was in their head, or that they knew they needed to have something along those lines, to also kind of help them to just get a gauge of what and how they should present their business, how they should be selling it. It's gracious of you and very kind to offer this service. So tell us a little bit about the power reels. And did that just come out of someone asking, like, hey, I truly I'm lost in the sauce here, I don't know what's going on. Like, can you do this for me? Or was it just something you had kind of pop in your head as something you enjoyed doing?
That's so funny. Well, actually, it's a partnership with one of our friends, and it's actually not even fully live yet. So it's funny that you brought it up. No,
sorry. Okay,
you're fine because it's coming. But I'll tell you about it because I think it's a really cool service. So we have a friend, and we love collabing with people and partnering with people, and her name's Amanda. And so her company does reels for people. They have done for you reels, and she's doing that for us. And so she will make the reels and she uses B-roll. So I don't have to record things. All I have to do is send her a bunch of B-roll that I take on random days. And then I tell her about my business, what my promotional calendar is, and she creates reels based off of that. She does all the animations because I don't like doing those animations either, to be honest with you. Like, we got too many other things to do, so I don't have time for this. So Amanda and her team... I know, right?
I can't.
Amanda and her team take care of all of that. They put the captions together. And then the combination of putting some ad spend behind that is what is really powerful. And that's why we call them Power Reels, because we talk through the strategy with Amanda and we're like, hey, I think we need something that introduces people to this, whoever the brand is. We need something that's going to nourish them or really like educate them, nurture them, however you want to say it. We need something that's going to show that we know our stuff. And then we need something that's selling. And honestly, those three pieces of social media content are really important. And I think sometimes people forget, like they'll miss an entire piece of that. And so if we could be like that voice that says, hey, you've got something really good, but I think you might be afraid of telling people you're really good, then they'll be like, well, what do you mean? What do we do? And I'll be like, this is what you do. Let us make it for you. They're like, okay, cool, do it. Then they schedule it. We put ads behind it. It's just a really nice hands off. I think it's a really a big comfort to people.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Guys, get in line for that, okay? Should they visit your website? I'm sorry to launch this.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine.
Visit the website. The link will be in the show notes for sure.
Yes.
Or you can DM and ask to get on the wait list, I guess, for the launch.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll offer some beta pricing at the beginning. So if you get in while it's good, there's always incentives. But yeah, absolutely. Just let me know and I'll get you a wait list. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes for sure. And I know you've already talked about your membership, but I would just love for you to kind of talk about that a little bit more. I do believe that memberships truly, truly have the power to help an individual transform their life or their business. And I can imagine that yours is really bumping with a lot of people feeling really great about themselves because they're seeing an impact. They're seeing themselves evolve and understand what's going on. They get the keywords. They know, like, they're feeling like, ooh, okay, I understand a little bit here. Like, this is fun now. Yeah. Is there a lot? I can imagine there being a lot of like, I did it in your membership.
There is. There's a lot of celebration that goes on for us. Yeah. So it's really fun. I would say like probably 80% of the people in our membership are working with a really small ad budget and they're really nervous. So the wins are smaller, but they're still wins and we scale them up and it's super fun. And then we have a few people who actually have bigger brands that will send like a VA or somebody on their team to take the course for them. And so that's really cool too, because then we get to be part of these like bigger brands and kind of be part of that. But yeah, we have twice a week live office hours. So those are like Party Central. People come in, they show us their ads, we tell them how to fix them. Sometimes we'll build a campaign if someone's nervous about something. We have a 5-step Ads Made Easy roadmap. We try to simplify the entire platform as much as possible because, to be honest, there's so much inside of Ads Manager that it is possible, but you don't need all of it. You need like such a small percentage of it, especially if you're in this education, service provider, small business world. So we teach you that. We're like, these are the tools you need. Ignore everything else. And the reason it's a membership is because it changes so much all the time. So we're always re-recording. We release a monthly podcast that tells you exactly what's working inside of Ads Manager. We tell you things coming up. We just try to give you as much as possible. We give you templates for ads. We give you AI prompts to try and help you with copy. We will review copy. We'll review ads. So we just try to do as much as humanly possible to help you not pull your hair out and hopefully get your ads automated enough. I know. We're so happy with
I'm like
it.
Crying. I've got tears in my eyes. Truly the relief that you're bringing people, and there is, some of the people I've interviewed since I started my show almost 2 years ago have closed.
Oh.
They can't make it work. There's so much fear right now in the entrepreneurial world. There's so much uncertainty and a lot of it's getting really hard out there for a lot of minority brands. They're having an incredibly hard time just keeping the doors open. And, this knowledge, as you said, is not fail proof, but understanding that there is a tool that you may not have exhausted or even tried at all that could truly change your life the way that it did for you, I think is just such a hopeful and powerful notion. And it's important that you are not only like bringing all this information out, but you're making the reality starkly, you can't ignore it. Things are going to change. This is not going to be something you just get to ride off into the sunset for. And like business, we're always going to be evolving and changing and growing off of the hips of tech, and tech changes every week. So for you to even take that step further and ensure that, oh, well, you've purchased something with us, well, we're going to keep you up to date. If you're in this membership, like, you're not going to be left out or left behind. You will be able to keep growing with the changes instead of getting caught in the ebb and flow where so many people reside, and then they're relying on the analytics, and you're watching conspiracy theory videos late at night of like hashtags, no hashtags. It's like you can erase almost all of that worry by putting in a strategic plan that comes with data.
Oh my gosh, yes.
The data. Can you just give us a little bit of insight to someone that may not understand what ads are capable of kind of showing you on the back end? Can you just tell them a little bit about what are some of the things you're able to glean from the ads and how people interact with them?
Absolutely. So these are key performance indicators, is the technical name for it. And so it's going to show you the health of what you're putting down, messaging, your website, your copy. It really teaches you all those things. Saying that seems overwhelming, right? You're like, oh, you have to look at this and it's going to tell you this. Well, the cool part about this, and this is like really nerdy, so you'll have to just stick with me, but there's benchmarks, which are just the numbers you should be looking for. So like I keep going back to the click-through rate. It's one of my favorite stats, but it's also part of a larger piece of information. So Facebook gives you the click-through rate, and let's say it's 3%, okay? 3% is great. I'm so happy for you. And then you're like, yes, Ashley, but I'm still not getting the results I want. And I'm like, well, okay, it's time to look at the next benchmark. So now we're going to look at what's your cost per click. Okay, so that's something Facebook tells us. They're going to tell us what's our cost per landing page view, which means they went to your website. So that's something else that we can look at. And there's different numbers that we're trying to hit a goal for based off of your industry, your goal with the ads. Are you trying to get someone to sign up for something for free or pay for something? Because we're looking at two different numbers based off of that. And that gives us information. It feeds us back a story that we can then take and interpret to make changes. And so I know I keep harping on this, but that's another part of the membership is we have a flow chart that if you're running an engagement ad and your cost per page engagement is like $1, that's way too high. So then we're going to go back and be like, okay, well, what's your cost per click? And it's like, oh, it's $3. You're like, oh gosh, what's happening here? So then we go to the click-through rate and it's 0.2, and I'm like, oh, okay, here it is. We're targeting the wrong audience, or we got some wrong creative. And for the most part, if it's an engagement ad, you can see who's engaging with your stuff. So for Elizabeth and I, here's a great story for you. Elizabeth and I put an ad up with some professional photos we'd had taken, and we were barefoot in the professional photos. And a foot fetish group got a hold of our ad and shared it in all of their Facebook groups, and our ad engagement was garbage. Our costs were amazing, but the people engaging were not our female small business owner at all. So it was awful. So those are things you're going to know. I'm like, that was the wrong audience. And we ended up actually having to turn our ads off and letting the algorithm reset for a week and then being able to turn it back on. But it was, that was not a fun time. But we can help you fix that if it happens to you. Also, don't put barefoot pictures in ads.
But something as erroneous as that is something that you need to have the understanding of the platform and the program to avoid it thwarting all of your hard work and your efforts. So again, like, you're just proving your weight in gold, like, with every word you speak out of your mouth. Guys, if this short conversation hasn't been enough to not only re-pique your interest in ads, I truly, really, I understand, like, not having the money to invest in your business in a way that you really want to and feeling like you're a failure because of it. But when I tell you I have scoured the internet for someone willing to start the conversation at $2 a day, I tell you there is no one better for you to learn from that understands exactly where you're coming from. They respect your budget. They're going to give you the same amount of time that they're giving someone else. You're not going to be put in the corner here because you can only spend $2 a day. And the empowerment that you will receive from seeing that $2 a day ad go well and be able to scale and earn and grow, like, my goodness, like, just please share this episode with someone that you know is really in dire straits in their business. This could be the last bit of information that they do not have in their toolkit. They could be scared to death of ads because they haven't come across someone like Ashley and Elizabeth that truly put their honor and respect for you and what you're doing at the forefront of them becoming bajillionaires. Like, this is the kind of person you want to work with for this very delicate and specific avenue that everyone has available to them. And I can trust and believe that Ashley will let you know whether or not your business is ready when you reach out to her. If your business isn't ready and you're missing some stuff, come DM me. We'll get you squared away. I'll tell you what you need. We'll help figure out who is going to be the best person to help you do that. But do not get discouraged. Things are made difficult to gatekeep, and Ashley and Elizabeth are the key holders, and they're going to swing that bitch open, and everyone is going to know how to do ads.
Right.
And we're all going to be the better for it.
You get a key, and you get a key, and you get a key.
You're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ashley, I'm obsessed with you. We have to have you on again, and maybe your sister as well. Yeah. And we can just talk, like, you know, the beauty of business, because I love your mindset. I love so much that you care about the business owner, and that to me, just, we could go off on like everything else about business, but
I would love it.
I would love to know how you make your life rich.
I make my life rich by choosing joy, even when it's really hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Thank you. It's
I love
something I work on every day and don't always succeed at, but it's a good goal.
Yeah. Yeah, love it. That's all we can do every day. Keep trying.
I'm happy to give your people a discount too if they want to get 50% off their first month and see if it's for them. I would love to do that for them. I'll make it, but let's make it Rich 50, and just come over bigbreakclub.com and we'll give them 50% off. And if you hate it, just email me and I'll refund you. Like, we want you to love it, so just try it out and see.
Oh my God, you are an angel. I'm gonna be telling so many people that when I told a few friends, like, girl, I got you next week. There's an ad manager. They're like, what? I'm like, okay. No, I honestly, like, I know you've been doing this for quite a while. You are it. You are literally it. I cannot wait to tell everyone about you now that I've found you. And honestly, just thank you so much for being a real person and not being like a lot of others out there that want to kind of take advantage of people that are looking just for not only help but information. And you are just so open and giving, and you can tell that this really comes from a place for you of just wanting to help people, and that is just so beautiful and so needed right now. So thank you.
Thank you. This just made like my whole week. You're so kind. Thank you.
Oh my God, you've made mine too. Thank you. And thank you for being so open with your information. A lot of people would have wanted like a $750 like half-hour phone call to like discuss what you discussed today. And I think a lot of the topics that are missing in discussion are the parts that business owners need to hear to understand how it works, to even engage with the idea of like, okay, I might try it.
Yes.
I understand now.
Yeah.
So I think you've helped a lot of people just really become a lot more familiar with the process, and hopefully a lot less scary.
I hope so. Yeah,
thank you.
Anything I can do to help, just let me know.
It was a pleasure. You and Elizabeth will be back on soon. Tell her I'm so sorry she wasn't on this time, but I can't wait to talk to you guys in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. We can't wait to be back.